Hi everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're gonna work our way through a bunch of uranium pricing. I know uranium's looking pretty good, and I'd like to show you guys what the charts look like. I don't go over future pricing in uranium that much. Looks like they got the chart up and working again for uranium futures pricing. We're gonna go over it together, and we're going to take a look to see what uranium looks like against other commodities. And it looks good. It looks very good. So let's dive in. Let's take a look and see what I've got today for us. A bunch of different ratios. And we can see how uranium and the uranium ETFs are performing against the futures pricing. So let's dive in. What I've got here is the uranium futures price. And what do I see? It looks dang good. It looks very good, guys. So what I see, and I'm just going to do a rough kind of thing here, kind of a bowl-shaped pattern. You can tell that we were in a downtrend here, downtrend here. You can see that we were coming in this bottom with basically a slowing of some momentum here. We came to a bottom, definitely here's the bottom down here. And we are starting to work our way up. It looks absolutely fantastic. You can put this as a continuation pattern here, basically breaking on up to the upside. So from a uranium price priced in dollars, this looks absolutely fantastic. This is the weekly candlesticks. We had a very nice week last week. And it's looking very, very strong. Past, Thursday and Friday looking very strong. Everything's coming together for uranium and the futures pricing. Now, if I were to price uranium in terms of other assets, it gives us another viewpoint to see if this is going to potentially outperform other commodities. It's a way to down select which sector we should be looking at and perhaps adding some more capital to. So if I look at uranium versus silver, and I know some people were asking me during the question and answer session, should I shift a little bit of money into uranium, or what should I do if I have new money? Kind of sector allocation. One thing here that looks incredibly good for uranium is it looks like uranium is about to outperform silver. We could see a vast outperformance if this obviously breaks to the upside. We're right kind of breaking through that support area. But the way I'd say it is, it looks pretty strong for uranium to outperform silver. We look at uranium versus the S&P 500, downward momentum, sideways momentum, and then eventually we're going to get a break to the upside. So it looks to me like that could happen hopefully soon. Usually what I look for is a big move to the upside with some pressure. On the weekly candlestick basis, we are getting some buying pressure. You can see these here the past 3 weeks. And we can throw a trend line perhaps through here. That has broken to the upside just recently. And perhaps we can get a big move to the upside for this ratio here. So we can see an outperformance of uranium versus the S&P 500 if it continues to move higher. And that looks excellent for a big move to the upside on a longer term basis. So be patient here. Again, this is a double bottom, kind of a big double bottom pattern. Come up, it usually consolidates here, and this is a good time to be looking to add to that position for uranium. Uranium versus gold, it is also outperforming gold here the past few weeks. Big picture view, we're at a very low price for uranium in relationship to gold. So I do think that's going to head higher at some point. We're still below a lot of resistance, but I think eventually it'll work its way on up. One could speculate that this is kind of a shoulder head and then a shoulder that is developing. So a big inverted head and shoulders pattern potentially on uranium futures versus the gold futures price. Uranium versus crude oil, it's been a struggle and a battle here, guys. But coming in here, we do have a downtrend line break where uranium has broken its downtrend and is just kind of working its way higher against crude oil. I do think energy in general looks very good. And right now, this is kind of fairly valued as it's kind of in the middle here for uranium versus crude oil. Uranium versus copper does look like to me that it's looking like it's trying to break to the upside here and have an outperformance of uranium. So that looks good for uranium versus copper. And we could see perhaps a very big breakout at some point to the upside. Uranium versus natural gas is undeniably, nat gas is the cheaper of the two. Nat gas is probably the cheapest commodity along with platinum on a valuation metric. But uranium's looking good, and we could still see outperformance of uranium, but I think nat gas at some point could do very well as it's cheap against everything. Uranium versus Dow Jones, you can see we're squeezing up over here. We're getting those big green candlesticks and the small red candlesticks. That's the exact thing I'd like to see here, guys. And we could see a big move to the upside for uranium against the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You can see we're right up against that resistance line. Uranium versus platinum, might as well throw platinum in there. That's a very cheap metal. And it looks like we could see outperformance of uranium versus platinum. So uranium against a lot of other sectors does look incredibly good, and the patterns look incredibly good as well. So uranium could outperform here in the hopefully the near short-term future. Looking at the uranium ETF. So this is ETF versus ETF. This is uranium versus oil. And what I see is a downtrend line that's been broken. It's been just kind of chopping sideways here like we've seen in a lot of the charts. And to me, when looking at this entire chart here, it looks like to me that uranium could outperform. We can also throw a downtrend line, and that's literally breaking out to the upside here recently against XLE. And XLE is a strong performer. I think we're going to see both of these go up, and I think URNM could outperform XLE. URNM versus XOP, another exploration production company. A little bit more well balanced here, and it's not as clear, but we do have a downtrend line break over here. So uranium outperformed XOP on the way up here. We had an underperformance where XOP outperformed URNM down at the bottom of 2022. And now it looks like we've got a pretty good and balanced market here that we're just been moving sideways. And we're waiting for a decisive move in either direction. URNM versus the overall commodities complex. To me, this looks like uranium is going to outperform and start to work its way up. You can just look at basically all of these are about to break to the upside of these little trend lines in these ratios. So we could see an outperformance of URNM if we take off here. URNM versus OIH. Again, OIH is an incredible performer. This is the energy service sector. And we've pulled on back basically to this support level. And we'll see if URNM outperforms here. We could see URNM start to outperform energy service companies. Uranium versus REMX. It's already dusting REMX because REMX is going lower while Uranium is going higher. Um, REMX does real well when gold does well. Same with some of these other companies. And right now, energy has been killing it. So that is one thing to look at is URNM has been trading like an energy company, like the energy with the energy guys, the oil guys. URNM versus COPX, another massive outperformance over these last few weeks and month. And it looks like we're getting reinvigorated to the upside here. Here's the past 3 weeks. Big move. Green Army is engaged. So that looks good, and we could outperform copper. URNM versus SPX. This has also been doing quite well the past couple of weeks, and we could see an outperformance of URNM versus SPX. Another ratio that I want to cover, since it seems like it's trading more like an energy company than it is perhaps with the NASDAQ. One thing I was looking at, and hopefully I pull it up, was the crude oil to gold ratio. An interesting thing here is crude oil versus gold. We had these long-term periods where crude oil outperformed gold for a lengthy period of time. And this could indicate that we've got an energy, maybe an energy outperformance or crude oil outperformance bull market. We saw that bull market occur in the 86 all the way up to 2008 timeframe, where we had a general increase of crude oil against gold. What that means is we had a crude oil dominance versus gold itself. Crude oil was getting priced more expensive in relationship to gold for that period of time. We went into a large decline in '08 all the way to the bottom of 2020 of gold outperforming crude oil. And we've broken that downtrend line to the upside here. In 2021, we broke out, did a little retest, and now we're resuming that that way higher, where crude oil may outperform gold. And you can obviously see that in your portfolio when you look at precious metals mining companies and you look at your energy service and energy companies. They have just been absolutely crushing it. So I think that crude oil could outperform gold and uranium could behave as such in this. So let me throw up UX1 in relationship to and put it in new pane and see how this thing has performed. You can see that we've really been moving higher here. We've been moving higher with crude oil. I'm going to put it also, I'm going to do this and just put it as the same percent, just overlay it to see what kind of relationship it is. But good outperformance here recently. Uranium's been absolutely fantastic in terms of a performer. Looking at, we've also got, let me see crude oil here. Crude oil versus the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That's also energy related, very cheap down here for crude oil. We could see a vast outperformance of energy in relationship to Dow Jones and these other areas. I think, let me see here. Did I do? Yeah, I did do gold. That looks fantastic for uranium. So that's what I've got for today, guys. I know it's a kind of a short clip, but uranium looks fantastic. It looks really good from a futures perspective. UX1, the futures pricing. Looks like we're going to go higher. It looks like it could outperform absolutely everything if the momentum continues. And what does that mean? It means that this sector could outperform the other sectors. Now, does that mean I'm going to completely redo my portfolio? No, but I am aware of a lot of the companies. I'm watching a lot of the companies. If they start to take off, there might be a little bit more money that I add into it in the speculative sector and ride this thing on up. So, yeah, uranium looks absolutely fantastic. I'll just say that, and hopefully the momentum can continue here, guys. Oh, and one last thing. We can look at SPUT real quick. The Sprout Physical Uranium Trust, that also looks like it's ready to break to the upside here. So that also looks absolutely fantastic. Also, if you were to price URA in relationship to the physical commodity, which I forgot to put in there. Oops, sorry, let me add it here. URA divided by UX1. This is the ETF versus the commodity itself. We are at very low, extreme levels for valuation of the equities in relationship to the futures pricing. So we are at, in my opinion, an excellent time to be looking at potential investments for uranium. And if you look, I did this on the monthly closing, but you can kind of run it through here. We've broken out and did a retest here with URA in relationship to the futures pricing, and it's a bullish engulfing. Very bullish for an outperformance potentially of the equities. So that looks very good. It's at a very cheap price. And, looking at historical valuations, this is a good time to enter. It's like entering in 2016, 2020, and potentially now are all the same valuation in relationship to the futures pricing. Whenever you get that type of setup, it's generally a decent time to look at it. And if you see positive momentum in the futures pricing, then the equities will probably follow suit behind it. So that's what I've got for today, guys. That's what I'm seeing in the charts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you like. I do cover all of the individual companies and my opinions around it and my strategies. All right, guys. We'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.